Now the whole objective behind pruning fruit trees is quite simple. I'm going to do my best to explain to you all the reasons why I prune my fruit trees. The first thing is I want to manage the canopy height. So the total height of the tree, if you've got a dwarf or a semi-dwarf tree, you can easily keep those managed at about 7 to 10 feet. If you do have a standard variety, however, it's going to be harder to keep those trees at a lower size, so keep that in mind. But by doing this, we're not only making the fruits easily accessible when it comes time for harvest, but we're also helping to keep wildlife out from the trees, from nesting and pecking at the fruits that would grow up higher. The second thing that I'm trying to accomplish is to create proper airflow throughout the canopy of the tree, and I'm going to do that by removing some of the inward growth, the lateral branches that are growing straight to the center of the tree, and some of that center growth that's shooting up straight in the middle of the tree, straight up. And what that's going to accomplish is it's going to allow sun to penetrate and for better photosynthesis, and it's also going to allow the air to freely flow throughout the tree, which is great for tree health. It's going to help to repel disease and fungal issues in the future. Now the third thing I'm looking to accomplish as I'm making all these pruning cuts is a nice structure on the tree. It's always nice to look at a beautiful tree that's been pruned well, and it just is very pleasing to the eye. But other than that, we want to create a structure that's going to be able to bear the weight of all the fruits that are soon going to be growing on the tree. The fourth thing I'm going to be doing is removing any dead wood, damaged limbs, diseased limbs that might be on the tree. And every year you're going to see some of that. So it's good to get it out while the tree's still dormant and allow the tree to then focus its energy on that nice healthy growth that's going to be creating flowers and fruit in the future. Now the fifth and final thing I'm looking to accomplish as I'm going about doing all my pruning is to create a nice balance of fruiting wood on the tree. Too much fruit equates to smaller fruit, sometimes not as tasty a fruit, and can also end up damaging the tree if you've got limbs that are overburdened by just too much fruit on the tree. Typically with my dwarf and semi-dwarf fruit trees, I'm happy with 150 to 250 fruits. And so that's kind of what I'm aiming for. So even after I end up doing this pruning, I'll end up coming back later in the season and actually removing a lot of those little fruits once they start to develop, the little pea-sized fruits, once again allowing the tree to focus its energy on the remaining fruits that are on the tree. So as you can see, I've got my work cut out for me over the next few days. I've got many trees to prune, and I'm looking forward to every minute of it. Depending on where you're located, this might be a bit early for you to do your winter pruning, but in most cases, if the weather permits, should be just fine getting it done now. There's also a spring pruning and a summer pruning that I'll be doing, and that's why, once again, I wanted to mention it's probably better to prune less than too much when you're first getting started with this and you're first learning about pruning. And the reason for that being is because you're going to come and make subsequent cuts down the line, and you're going to continue to manage the tree throughout the growing season. But the majority, the most dramatic cuts that you make are going to be while the tree is dormant during the winter season. Now when I do my pruning of my fruit trees, I only use 3 different tools to accomplish the task. And that is a really nice sharp pair of hand pruners and a couple different hand saws. I've got a fine tooth saw. This is made by Silky, and this is called the Pocket Boy. And this is for the smaller limbs in the tree. And if I've got a larger portion of the tree I need to cut, a larger branch, then I use this Wicked hand saw, which has much larger teeth. And I might do a finishing follow-up cut with this smaller tooth saw here. It's really important before I get going to sanitize all these tools. And then as I go from tree to tree, I do another sanitation as to not spread any potential diseases or fungal issues that may be on one of the trees that you don't see now but can show up later in the season. There's many different ways to do that. Just a bit of rubbing alcohol on a cloth or a spray bottle and wipe down your tools is good. I also like to use these little sanitary wipes, these little sterile wipes. You can pick these up dirt cheap, and they're just convenient. I also use a spray bottle of vinegar and a rag. So those are 3 options that I'd recommend using. And anywhere I see a branch growing straight up in the middle where this is going to start to leaf out and block the sun from getting into the rest of these branches, I'm going to take out that inward growth. And you see how nice this Silky saw cuts. Just a few swipes and the limb's gone. Keep working from the center on the larger branches here. Take this entire branch out here. I'm not putting too much pressure when I'm sawing. I'm making a pretty major cut here, so I'm using my long tooth saw to lick it. Now I'm going to be making another major cut, taking this branch out, which is growing straight up towards the center of the tree. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm making these cuts at a slight angle. That way, as rain falls and water gets on these cuts, it's not going to pool up, but it's rather going to just drip off the edge. Now I'm going to switch over to my hand pruners. We got some smaller limbs to take out here. I've got some limbs that are growing towards the ground. I'm just going to take those out. Here we've got a broken limb. Here's another branch kind of going down. It's going to be in the way of this branch once it starts to leaf out. So I'm going to take that out there and focus on this branch for my growth. This branch here is black, not looking alive at all. I'm going to take that out. This one as well. Anyway, guys, I'm going to continue on. Just wanted to share this with you, what I'm up to today. Doing something in the garden every day, weather permitting. And I hope you're able to do the same. Until next time, this is Dan from PlantAbundance.com. Take care. I'll be talking to you again soon.